All right, so today we're going to be multiplying trinomials by trinomials. So we're going to be looking at trinomials today. So a trinomial is any polynomial that has three terms. And if you've ever heard of a tricycle or a triangle, you know that those are going to involve three because they all contain the prefix tri. So when we're talking about trinomials, we're talking about polynomials that have three terms. Really good examples of these are things like x squared plus 4x plus 6. Notice that this is a polynomial that has three terms, right? So the first term is x squared, so I'll underline that in blue. And the second term is 4x, I'll underline that in red. And then the third term and final term is going to be the 6. So I'm going to underline that in yellow. So you can plainly see that this has three terms. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be multiplying trinomials by trinomials. And I'll show you how to do it. So let's do trinomial. So the first thing that I have is I have in parentheses x squared plus 2x plus 3. And I'm going to close that up. That's going to be my first trinomial. And then my second trinomial that I'm multiplying by is going to be x squared plus 3x plus 4. And then I'm going to close that up in parentheses as well. So notice that both of these inside the parentheses, they both have three terms. So they're both going to be trinomials. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to underline the first term in red. And what I'm going to do with this first term is I'm going to multiply it by everything in the next trinomial. So I'm going to draw an arrow from the x squared to the x squared. I'm going to multiply those together. What's x squared times x squared? That's going to give you x to the fourth power. So x squared times x squared is going to give you x to the fourth power. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the x squared by the next term, which is going to be the 3x down here. What's going to be x squared times 3x? That's going to be 3 out in front. And then I have a 1 right here, technically. So that's going to be 3x cubed, or 3x to the third power. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this x squared by the 4 over here. That's the last term. What's x squared times 4? That's going to be 4x squared. Okay, so now we've multiplied everything by x squared. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to change my color to blue, and I'm going to underline the next term, which is 2x. So now I'm going to take this term and I'm going to multiply it by everything in the other trinomial. So I'm going to multiply this 2x by the x squared first. So what's 2x times x squared? That's going to be 2x cubed. 2x cubed. And notice I put that 2x cubed under the 3x cubed because the exponents match up over here, right? They're both cubes. Next, we're going to draw an arrow from the 2x all the way to the 3x. What's 2x times 3x? That's going to be 6x squared. So 2 times 3 and x times x. That's going to give you 6x squared. And then the last thing I need to multiply the 2x by is the 4 over here. 2x times 4, what would that give you? That would give you 2x times 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. I'm going to have 8x. So now we're done with the 2x. We've already multiplied it by everything on the right side. And then the last thing I need to multiply everything by is the 3. And I'm going to use green for this one. So I'm going to underline the 3 next. So now I'm going to take the 3 and I'm going to multiply it by all 3 of these terms over here. 3 times x squared, what would that be? That would be 3x squared, right? Next, we're going to draw an arrow to the next term, which is just 3x. 3 times 3x, that's going to give you 9x. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the 3 by the 4. What's 3 times 4? That would just be 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, so what you'll notice is I have 3 rows of polynomials, right? I've got 3 rows of 3 terms up here, in the middle, and at the bottom. And I made sure to put the x cubes together and the x squareds all together and the x's all together. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding. We're going to add everything up. So I'm going to put a plus sign off to the side in parentheses like this. There's my plus sign. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line underneath it. And hopefully this line will cross over and get everything. Okay, so now we're ready to add. We're going to start on the left side and work our way to the right side. So starting with the x to the 4th power, nothing is going to combine with that. So I'm just going to bring that down to the bottom. X to the 4th power. Now I move on to the next 2 terms, 3x cubed and 2x cubed. What would happen if I added those up? What's 3 plus 2? That's going to give me 5, right? And I keep this exponent, this 3, the same. Okay. Next, let's add up the squares. I've got 4 plus 6 plus 3. That's going to give me 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 plus 3 is 13. So I'm going to get 13x squared. So keep that x squared the same. And now we add up the x's next. 8x plus 9x is 17x. And then the last thing I need to do is bring down my 12 because it doesn't really combine with anything. So I can just bring it down the way it is. And I'm done. That's going to be my answer at the bottom. So notice this polynomial at the bottom has 5 terms. It's got x to the 4th power, 5x cubed, it's got 13x squared, 17x, and 12. So that's how you multiply a trinomial by a trinomial. It is much more involved than some of the problems that you're used to doing, but hopefully you can see how this is just an extension of the distributive property done 3 times. And I hope that helps.